Guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the 2020 Paper 1 Math Methods External Exam Question 11 short response for Paper 1. Now, as you would have noticed with all the questions in the external exams, I am breaking them up into individual videos. That way if you only struggle with a couple questions, you can go watch those ones. The full exams are still up on YouTube, the link's in the description below. If you need a Math Methods External Exam bundle pack and you want a discount, the link is in the description below, and the the code's next to it as well. It takes 50% off. But otherwise, let's get straight into this question here. Now, if you have any questions at all during these videos, leave something in the comments and I'll try my best to answer it. But let's get straight into it. So, question 11. Determine the derivative of each of the following with respect to x. So we're given two of these guys here with 1 mark for the first question and 2 marks here. Okay. So for the first one here, what I would do before I even differentiate this guy here is just rewrite it. So instead of writing 1 over sine x, I would rewrite it as y equals sine x to the power of negative 1. Okay, and where that positive 1 is coming from is this being a positive 1 here, and we're moving that index above the fraction. Therefore, we have to change it from a positive 1 to a negative 1. Okay, once we've done that, we can clearly see this is going to be a chain rule because you have an inside function and you have an outside function. Okay, so here when we're doing chain rule, you differentiate the inside and multiply it by the differential of the outside. It doesn't matter which one you do first as long as you do them correctly. So here if I was differentiating the outside, aka the green, I move the power down the front, so it's going to be negative 1 times by, and then write this stuff here. So the inside function still is there. And then here I subtract the power by 1. So negative 1 becomes negative 2. So that's the differential of the outside. Then I times this by the differential of the inside. So the differential of the inside, which is sine x, the differential of sine turns into cos. So it's going to be multiplied by cos x. Now, this is not the full answer, okay? Well, it is, but I'll probably simplify it a little bit more. So here I would write it as this. I would go negative 1 times cos, which is negative cos x, and then I would move that power to the bottom. So I would write it as sine x all squared on the bottom. And if you want to, you could write it like this, as sine squared x, like that. And that's all you have to do. So that's how you do the first bit there. A lot of working for 1 mark there. However, this should be pretty easy in this regard here. There are harder questions on this exam, okay? Let's take a look at the second part here, okay? Now, if you have any questions about the first part, try and timestamp it, and I'll try my best to answer it. Second one. So, this one here, differentiate with respect to x. And now this one is said expressed in factorized form. So, when we're differentiating this guy here, hopefully you can recognize that we are going to be using a product rule because we have a function times by another function here, okay? Now, when we're doing product rule, we have to follow this specific thing. Two functions multiply. If you differentiate it, you leave one, diff the other. Then you diff the original and leave the previous, okay? So you can follow this rule to an extent, or you can follow it exactly. In my opinion, you shouldn't really have to memorize, well, you should memorize that rule, and you don't have to write it in this case here. As long as we know we diff that one, leave that one, and then we diff that one and leave the other one. So here, I'm going to write it as dy dx. I'm going to differentiate x squared first. So that will turn into 2x. And then I still multiply by the original. So e to the negative x. Then I go plus. Now I leave the x squared. So it's just going to be x squared times by. Now I differentiate this guy here. Now differentiating the exponential term, there's a chain rule in itself because you have an inside function and you have an outside function. Now if you differentiate e, it doesn't change. However, if you differentiate negative x, it turns into negative 1. So a negative 1 comes down the front, so negative 1, which is the differential of the inside, times by the differential of the outside, which is e to the negative x. So overall, dy dx is 2x e negative x plus, actually not plus, it'll be minus x squared e negative x. Now this is not finished because they want it expressed in factorized form. So what we look for is things in common. So things I can see in common are these guys here, as well as an x. So you can take that out. So dy dx in factorized form would be x e to the negative x, brackets, and then whatever was remaining here. So here you have a 2 remaining, and then here you have a negative x. Now, the way to double check you've got the correct answer is if you were to multiply that into there, you should get this following result up here. And that's how you do question 11, okay? If you have any questions about this one here, leave something in the comments. If you need a Math Methods External Exam Bundle Pack with a 50% discount code, link is in the description. It'll only work for a couple of users until it expires. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.